Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing a full face of Pat McGrath. As you might have seen in the title or the thumbnail, we're going to talk about her brand. Is Pat McGrath being canceled? All right guys, thank you so much for clicking on my video. As I said in the intro, we're going to talk about Pat McGrath. I'm going to be doing a full face of Pat McGrath. I'm just trying to figure out, like, is she being canceled? Is there still magic to her brand? What is going on? Who are her business managers? That whole bit over there. So if you're new here, we like to talk about makeup, luxury, indie, drugstore sometimes, and just have a good time. We like to do new makeup reviews, makeup and chill live streams on Fridays. We like to talk about new makeup releases and sometimes about the tea. So today we're going to talk about Pat McGrath, and I'm just a little concerned. I'll leave all the makeup that I use in the description box below. We're going to start with eyes as we always do, and let's just start. Let's just get it right into it. Mothership 6, Midnight Sun. I've ranked my palettes before. I ranked this one as #1. It is the most beautiful palette that she has ever created, in my opinion. Okay, and one of the things about Pat McGrath is the packaging. Look at the packaging. It is just stunning. Now it is just cardboard, and sometimes they get jacked up in shipping and they don't last forever, and you know, whatever. But once you open up the palette, it is just gorgeous. It's this acrylic lacquer. Oh geez, again, my most loved palette. It is a very, very dirty. Apologize for that, kinda, not really. But this is the palette that kind of started the whole debacle with Pat McGrath and all that drama. So if you don't know about Pat McGrath, it's a luxury makeup brand. It's a Black-owned beauty brand, kind of. Pat McGrath is an international makeup artist. She was also named the Dame, or the Dame. I always forget how you say that. By the Queen of England. And so she's kind of a big deal. You see her on all the runways, and a lot of the editorial looks or just those beautiful glimmery looks you see on Instagram are looks that she's doing on the runway. So she's kind of a big, big deal. If you like makeup and history like I do, I actually did do a full deep dive on her, the person, how she grew up, how she got into makeup, how she created this global brand. I will link this up here somewhere. So for a long time, the last year and a half, the talk was always like, my gosh, mother, for the love of God, no more pink, no more pink, right? And what we meant by that is a lot of her palettes were pink eyeshadow. Well, she started giving us a little bit of color. She gave some blush, and we were happy. We were so excited. You know, we acted like it was the best thing since sliced bread and all of that. But what you will find with Pat McGrath fans is they're not fans, honey. They're stans. Like, we love anything and everything she does. We just think she's so great. I actually liked her a lot more after I did the makeup and history deep dive, because I thought, you know what? I love her story. I love how she grew up and what made her who she is today. But recently, and I think that the beauty community or the beauty space in general is shifting, okay? And I talked about this in another video, where in 2020, we were all stuck in one place, right? Everybody was on lockdown and we didn't really have anywhere to go. That's when a lot of people started their YouTube channels. It's when a lot of people got into makeup and makeup tutorials, and things were selling out like crazy. We had nothing better to do. We were just sitting at home, bored out of our minds, buying all the makeup. And that just kind of blew a lot of brands up, actually. When we thought that the lockdown and everything was going to make people stop paying for makeup or buying makeup because we weren't going anywhere, the opposite happened. Brands blew up. Creators blew up. Like, we had nothing better to do than to consume this content. Or I guess I should say for myself, I had nothing better to do. Sure, I was working, but it was such an unprecedented time that people were not really engaged with work. They were kind of watching the news, trying to see what was happening, and it was just this global phenomenon that affected everyone. So we instead wanted to dive into some sort of distraction. For me, it was makeup. For a lot of people, it was makeup. Okay, so anything and everything went, and collections would sell out in minutes. Like, they would launch, and minutes later, you know, you could see on their IG, sold out, completely sold out, open for pre-order. People were buying everything, you guys, and they weren't questioning anything. And that's kind of how we got a little bit of solace or retail therapy, if you will, by buying all the makeup. Well, fast forward to 2022, when, you know, some people have said the pandemic is over. I don't know, the numbers are on the rise again, but people are starting to pay attention to what they are doing. A lot of companies have gone back to in-office work. People have learned how to work remotely, so they're actually doing their work. They're not silent quitting or quiet quitting, whatever they call that. And so people have less time to consume this type of content. I mean, I saw it during Vlogmas this year where a lot of people were saying it's so overwhelming to try to watch all of our favorite creators because there's just so much. And what that means is in 2020, we had a lot of time because we were just sitting around the house. In 2022, we're stuck in traffic, we're going to work, we're out shopping, we're doing all the normal things, and we don't have the time that we used to before. Okay, so we got that out of the way. Now, in addition to that, with everything that's going on, war, you know, across the pond or on the other side of the world, gas going up, weather conditions and catastrophic events, as well as the economy, you know, just kind of the ripple effect of everything that came from the pandemic is starting to take over, and people are noticing, people are being affected by it. And more, I start to see comments in my comment section and with, you know, other brands on IG that people are saying, oh, you know, I can't wait to get this when I get paid, or I can't really afford this right now. I hope it's still available when I can get it. I've gotten a lot of comments on my videos like, yeah, you know, on the collections that sold out, like, yeah, I wish that they would have kept it open longer. I couldn't get it. I was waiting to get paid. I think the reality of what is looming or coming on an economic front is starting to affect our makeup purchasing decisions. In addition to that, I've seen so many videos, and I also talked about this in another video that I did, where a lot of creators are experiencing burnout, or like they're just overwhelmed with the amount of makeup that they have that 2020 created, okay? And a lot of them, I mean, I can't even tell you how many I see that say, in 2023, I'm dialing back. In 2023, I'm going to really enjoy my own collection. In 2023, I need to stop buying. I can't afford it. Like, there's so many creators that are saying the same thing. Okay, so you see where I'm going with this. So, fast forward to a couple weeks ago. Actually, more than a couple weeks ago, like at the beginning of December, where Pat McGrath announces her newest launch, you know, and she always starts with the absolute best sneak peeks. She starts teasing a release and people start losing their shit. They go crazy like, oh, mother, what are you doing? What are you doing? And me included, by the way. I always lose my shit every time I know there's a new Pat McGrath release coming, okay? And I'm a true fan. I really, really like her stuff. I think that she makes beautiful makeup. I think her quality is always on point for the most part. But I've also been focusing on new makeup news and new makeup releases. So I was paying attention, and we were anxiously awaiting the launch or the release, the announcement of what she was coming up with. And it was looking really cool. Now, the first thing we saw is that it was going to be a collaboration with Star Wars. And I got really excited because when Decadence released, Mothership 4, they also had some connection or like Star Wars themed packaging for that one. And it was just so cool, so well done. Pat McGrath's brand always has like a little edgy, like intergalactic kind of vibe to it. You know, she loves that stuff. And so it made a lot of sense for me, okay? But when they finally like release or show what the collection's going to be, everybody's like, oh. Instant. I mean, everybody started talking, and my beauty community was like, cash grab. And that's what I called it. I immediately called it a holiday cash grab. I was like, I didn't get it. And I was like, okay, like, first of all, you've had 3 or 4 sales by this point since October 1st. 30% off, 40% off, 20% off. Like, everything's been on sale. And I mean, please say it and so, but sometimes it kind of feels like a liquidation sale. I mean, I don't even know what to call it, but you can buy Pat McGrath at 30-40% off on any given day now, at least for the last couple months. Then people started finding her Bridgerton palettes at TJ Maxx, and it's like, okay, hold on, I'm scared, I'm getting scared, oh my god, like, I love this brand, you know, what's going on? And I don't care what anybody says, like, even if it's just the Bridgerton palettes, the fact that you could find her walking through TJ Maxx, like, it instantly lowers the caliber of brand in my eyes. Like, Pat McGrath is considered a luxury brand. Why are you at TJ Maxx, honey? I mean, That's cool and everything, but no, that's not cool. You're selling luxury. You cannot be you cannot be seen in those places, you know? And so we started getting a little concerned, like, hey, what's going on over there? Then they launched this palette and we're just like, okay, this is a total holiday cash grab. And what really pissed people off was the fact that during the time that this release launched, you could buy the Mothership palettes for 40% off. That's $76. That's how I bought the last Mothership 10 I bought for $76 as opposed to the 128, which is the normal price. And you could buy Mothership 6 for $76, but when they launched this whole new collection, they instantly increased it to 128. That kind of seems shady, right? If I don't want the limited edition packaging, why do I have to pay full price? Then, like a week or two later, I checked. I put that Mothership palette in my cart, and the one that didn't have the limited edition packaging, and I could get it for 40% off for $76. I actually posted it on my stories, and I was like, what is this mess? Like, I don't know, unless you have some Star Wars fanatics, Star Wars / Pat McGrath fanatics that have to have all the collectibles. I don't know who in their right mind would pay the 128 versus the $76. And so it just kind of made me feel a certain type of way. Then there was a good friend of mine on Instagram. She is a creator. She's not a creator on YouTube, but she is a lover of beauty, and she has a great Instagram. I'll link her Instagram down below. But she posted a reel. She actually was one of the ones that bought that Mothership 6 when it launched with the Star Wars packaging. She had hers for years, and she had panned like 3 or 4 shadows, and in general, her palette was so beaten up, it was time for a new one. Great, that's awesome. So she bought the palette, and when she got the palette, you guys, I'm not laughing at her, I'm just laughing at the situation. Like, how crazy can these brands be? But when she got the palette, she posted a reel, and I'm sure she was reeling on the inside, as I would be. Okay, you just made me pay $52 more, or $52 more for this. And she posts a reel of the Mothership 6 of this one here in limited edition packaging, and she's like, so as you can see here, guys, this, and you know what? I'm going to show you the reel.
A public service announcement regarding the Pat McGrath and Star Wars Mothership 6 Midnight Sun. The special edition collector quality case is a sticker that I can easily remove using only my fingers in about 90 seconds. That's right, they took palettes that were laying around in a warehouse, palettes that had been on sale for about 40% off for months, put Star Wars stickers on top of them, then increased the price by more than $50 back to the regular price. Epic cash grab, right? Mother got me this time.
Oh my God, you guys. I could not believe, like, I could believe it, but I couldn't believe it. So disingenuous, so scammy. Like, how could they, right? And listen, I know that when it comes to making money and brands, like, whatever, they're savages. They're going to take us for every penny that they can, right? And for the most part, we kind of roll over and take it. But this time, I think people were so upset. And she goes on this reel, as you just saw, and she's peeling the sticker off. And we're like, oh. I immediately reshared it. And then I went to go add to cart to see if I could get it for $76. And sure as hell I could. And we could not believe it. And I was like, oh my God. If you're not upset, like, you must just be rolling in it, because I would be so pissed. So I thought about it. I actually went back and I went to go see if some of these 5 pans were available, because they actually looked beautiful. And to be honest, like, Pat McGrath quality is just stunning. It's gorgeous. So I went back to see if I could get a couple of these 5 pans. I didn't want the neutral or the pinky one. I wanted the other two. And so they were sold out. And I said, okay, that's fine. I'm just going to wait. You know, I haven't bought a Pat McGrath release on launch day in quite some time, so I was okay waiting. And so then I started seeing the reviews pop up. I haven't seen a lot of reviews, to be honest, but I did see a couple. So the first one that I saw was Morgan Turner. I love her. She reviews all the new luxury makeup on the market. And she didn't buy the mothership, and so that was great, but she did buy the 3-5 pans, and she bought the little pots, and so I wanted to see them. So first things first, the little pots, she swatched those first, and she's like, huh, they're not cream shadows like I thought they were. So she was disappointed about that. I would have too, you know. Now they swatched beautiful, but like nothing special, especially for an indie makeup lover. Like, you're trying to give me that kind of formula and expect me to be excited about it? No. So they were nice, but they were not all that, you guys. And then, you know, she tries to put together 2 looks with the 2-5 pans. Pretty looks, like really, really pretty looks. Partly because she's really good at makeup, and second because Pat McGrath quality is pretty good, but nothing spectacular that you needed to drool over, okay? And I guess what I could say about that review is it was mediocre. I mean, not her review. Her review was great. The review of the products was just like, it's cool. If you've never experienced Pat McGrath, you know, maybe buy a 5 pan when they come back in stock. But I mean, it's cool. If you own Pat McGrath, you're probably going to be less than impressed. And she made a good point. She's like, Pat McGrath's supposed to be a luxury brand, and there's a sticker. It looks like ColourPop. Like, you know, you have pots like Melt. Melt has this raised logo on the top, right? It says Melt. We have Charlotte Tilbury. No sticker. It's just her logo. We have Hourglass. Like, you didn't have to do anything crazy, but don't make it a sticker. It makes it feel like it's ColourPop. So again, the cheapening of a brand, right? And it's like, for people that are watching this that love Pat McGrath, we're like, no, what are you doing? You're slowly dying. Going in with my one size blue eyeliner. I have the Pat McGrath liquid eyeliner, but I don't like it. It skips too much on me. Anyway, so it just kind of felt really sad to see that. It's like a train wreck, and you're like, you know they're going to crash, but there's nothing you can do to help them. Yeah. Then I started seeing other reviews. Like, as soon as I started filming this, I actually just saw Patty Alonso's video pop up, and just from the thumbnail, I didn't watch it, but just from the thumbnail you can kind of see, like, she's like, what the hell is going on, right? Like, everybody's like, what is happening? And then of course the one YouTuber in my space that I know really well and is known for reviewing Pat McGrath, it's Alicia with Kinky Sweat, and she's a lover of Pat McGrath, and a lot of people that love Pat McGrath follow her. We were so happy when Pat McGrath finally gave her PR. I mean, so anyway, in her video, she talks about how she went to this launch party in New York, and she talks to Pat. Pat's a darling. And, you know, she was gifted one of the 5 pans, so she went ahead and bought the other 2 5 pans, and then she buckled and she bought another Midnight Sun with this limited edition packaging, okay? Limited edition packaging. Now, I don't think that's very crazy for Kinky Sweat because, again, she's very well known for her Pat McGrath reviews, and she loves Pat McGrath. The crazy part was that she already owned 2 of the Midnight Suns, so that was kind of crazy because it was like, what are you doing, girl? Like, why would you do that, you know? But again, whatever, her prerogative. And she kind of made fun of herself. She was like, I know. That was crazy. I couldn't help it. It's this packaging, which is why it's so offensive that it's a sticker, you guys. It's a sticker. I guess the reason why I wanted to film this video, and I'm going to go in with my Pat McGrath in light medium 14. It might be too yellow for me, but I will mix it in with something else if it is. You see? It's okay. I'm gonna mix in a little bit of my Chanel Velvet just because it's a little too serum-y for my liking with my oily skin. But the reason that I wanted to film this video is, one, just to kind of talk through it and to wake up to what's happening. Like, if this would have happened in 2020, you guys, or even last year, let's be honest, I would have been all over it. I would have been all over it. I would have totally bought into the hype. I would have totally been like, oh, it's okay, but it's so pretty. It's limited edition packaging. And I think that a lot of people would have been in the same place that I was. This year, just because of everything that's going on, and really, as I'm redirecting and refocusing, which I have been, you know, I didn't really buy that much makeup in 2022, but I'm starting to pay attention. I'm starting to be a little bit pickier with my purchases because I have to be. Not only because of the situation that we are in, you know, with my husband just coming home from the hospital and stuff, but just in general, like that, like la la land that I lived in 2020 when I had nowhere to be, nothing to buy, nowhere to go, like that is over for me. Like it's back to life, honey, back to reality. So I can't be buying stuff just to buy. But then that's why it feels offensive to me. Like it's such a cash grab, and it's like, when are we going to wake up? Because what I mean by that is we vote with our dollars, you guys. Like that is how we keep businesses on a certain trajectory. If they feed us some bullshit and we buy it, then they're going to continue to feed us that. I mean, I talked about that with Dior and like how most of their stuff, like their makeup and stuff, is so light. Their eyeshadow, sometimes they're just really light stories that not everybody can use. But the reason why they keep doing it is because people keep buying it. Now, one interesting thing that I noticed on social media, like I went through like the last 5 or 6 posts on Pat McGrath's Instagram. And first of all, first thing I noticed is there wasn't as many comments on each post like there normally is. Like every time she has a launch, like people go crazy. There's like thousands of comments, hundreds of comments. There was literally one that had like 8 comments. And I was like, what is going on? You know, 396 likes, which is like not like her. And then the next thing that I noticed is like, I can't possibly be the only one feeling this way. I mean, just from the conversations I've had with people, that they're just like really annoyed by it. Like, why is nobody saying anything? Now, I don't encourage people just posting like mean comments for the hell of it, but I'm just saying that when I went back to look, there was nothing but like, oh my gosh, this is incredible. Oh my God, I love. Oh my God, divine, right? What people always put on those posts. And I just thought it was interesting. I was like, there can't be, like, there's no way that people are not calling her out. There's no way that there have not been negative comments on these posts. But like, is she deleting posts? Or not her, but like her team? Are they deleting posts? I don't know. It just feels kind of weird to me. And then the only negative posts that I could find, which weren't that negative, but it was people saying like, this is bull crap. Like, I ordered $400, $500 on your site. I haven't received a single shipping notification. It's been a month, you know, whatever. And they never respond to those. So I can tell you that I had a mascara missing from my 40% off Black Friday sale. They never got back to me. And I guess I could have followed up, but I've been busy with Vlogmas, and, you know, it was a $20 mascara. I should totally hit them up, but I just never did. And it's like, how do you do that? Like, people spend all this money and your customer service team can't even get back to you on a global brand? Jeez. I forgot how beautiful this foundation is. It's beautiful. So there was a subscriber that messaged me on Instagram. And you know how Pat McGrath, right after the announcement, but right before they launch, she does like IG lives and stuff, sometimes with giveaways. Most of the time it's a makeup artist like applying the makeup that they're releasing. She said that there was an IG live and that there were some questions to Pat McGrath about like, why were they re-promoting this and what was going on and whatever. And that she kind of got into it, into the discussion about that, saying that like she had other visions for the brand, but that, you know, at a leadership level, they had made the final choice to go with this release. I don't know what that means. I just know that she is owned by a larger company. I believe Kendo, like, please correct me if I'm wrong in the comments down below, but, you know, there's a major investor. Kendo owns a lot of major brands Pat McGrath being one of them. And so with those major brands in the luxury space especially, like they tend to stay with like the safe bet, you know, with things that like most people will buy. Not everybody's a color lover, you know, but when you think of Pat McGrath, she's in the luxury space and she creates these amazing like shimmers and glitters and this galactic world, right? So we want color, but she had to stick with something safe, basically, was like the gist of what she was saying. And so it just makes me think, like, I cannot believe that Pat McGrath would be okay with releasing something lazy, because that's the way that this appears. Like, I hate to say it, but this whole collection just seems lazy to me. Like, really? It was like holiday, and although she did have her holiday release, but it was holiday time, and this is the best that you could come up with. And I think that somehow like her creative arms are being tied up and she can't really do what she wants to do with the brand. I think that was the gist of what this person was telling me in my DMs. And so I was like, well, that's a good way to look at it. Like, it's sad because I feel like, you know, this brand carries her name. You would think that they, as a makeup artist and with, you know, all the world renowned respect that she has from her artistry and the work that she does, that she would be given creative control. But, you know, I guess not. I don't know. So it's one of those things where, like, you know, at the beginning of the video, I say, was Pat McGrath, or is Pat McGrath being canceled? I really hope not, because I really do think that it's something bigger than this. The only thing that I would say is it's time for Pat McGrath to get serious with, you know, the major investors and, you know, kind of share this feedback with them, because it could be one of those brands that after a while people are not going to be looking out for, which is crazy to think about. Like, she's so big. She's so big in the luxury space. And I'm sorry, like, they're finding you at TJ Maxx. They're, you know, you're having 30-40% off sales. Like, you don't see Chanel doing that. You don't see Charlotte Tilbury doing that. She has a couple big sales, but, you know, you don't see them doing that. So I think they need to be careful. I think that the consumer's starting to pay attention. I mean, even consumers like me that would literally buy anything for no reason at all, people like me are starting to pay attention, and it is taking away from your bottom line here. You know, the fact that I'm in the creator space, I do very well when I upload videos on new releases, and I haven't been compelled enough to buy your stuff for the last 2 or 3 launches, more than that. Like, you're going to start to lose some of that market, because a lot of us are what keep your brand relevant and going. So not to say that you'll lose your clout or your popularity if smaller creators are not sharing your stuff, but a little bit. Like, let's not discount, you know, the power of a micro influencer. So anyway, that's kind of what I'm thinking. Okay, so let's wrap it up. So I did the rest of my makeup off camera, but I used my Chanel bronzer and my Dior bronzer to set it, since she doesn't have a bronzer. Maybe do that to stay relevant. I used my favorite Pat McGrath highlighter, the Divine Rose. This one's so pretty. Everything will be linked down below, guys, but that's what that looks like. I used my Paradise Venus blush. This one's beautiful. That's what that looks like. It's a good like fall winter blush. And then on the lips, I did use Pat McGrath Dream Lover lipstick in the Matte Trance, and I used the Buff lip liner for this look. I think it came out beautiful. To wrap it up, I mean, with the state of things, guys, we have to pay attention to where our dollars are going, and then to the companies, like, what are you guys doing? I think the last few launches, I mean, if I'm being honest, the last 6 to 9 months of launches have told brands that we're not selling out your launches right away. We're starting to think a little bit more closely about where we're spending our dollars. We're dealing with all of the makeup that we bought in 2020 and then realizing that the makeup in 2022 is not that innovative. And I think 3 for me, moving forward, because of the decisions that I'm making on my channel and my life in general, when I see cash grabs, when I see things that just don't make sense, I'm going to call them out. So Anyway, I hope that you guys didn't take this video in a negative way. It wasn't meant to be. I think for me, I'm transitioning into a place of transformation. I am going to focus more on contentment in my collection versus accumulation, because it wasn't just enjoyment or purchasing to enjoy. It was merely accumulation, guys. I did not enjoy the collection because I could only use a palette once or twice before I had to move on to the next. So transitioning into contentment, happy with what I have. I'm gonna call out things that don't make sense to me because I think that's what makes sense to me. I am very, very curious about your thoughts. Tell me what you think down below. At the end of the day, I don't believe that Pat McGrath is being canceled, and if she was, I don't support that. I don't support anybody getting canceled, but I do think that positive feedback is important. Be kind when you provide feedback, but be very honest, because that's what people and brands need. The whole cancer culture bullshit, I will never subscribe to that, but I do subscribe to just keeping it real. Like, that's what we do here on my channel, is keep it real. So anyway, share your thoughts down below. If you haven't subscribed and you're still here, make sure you do that. We have a lot of fun. We're gonna have a makeup and chill every single Friday moving forward, and very excited about that. I will see you guys later. Bye.